The Saints and a situation that they were not preparing for when it comes to the draft, which is they thought they were standing pat with Derek Carr. They might not have him, Logan Ryan. So what do the Saints do if you were going to play GM for this team? Do you draft someone? Do you trade for a veteran? Or are you fully preparing to take one of these rookie quarterbacks and have him lead your team?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a state of emergency for the Saints. When your franchise starting quarterback goes down right before OTAs and you got to go in here with no idea what to do with it, you got to bring a quarterback in. I don't think it's a rookie quarterback route, though. I think it's a veteran quarterback. You have Spencer Rattler there, a young guy. That is your kind of rookie quarterback on the roster. But is he inspiring and leading his teammates? I don't know yet. I haven't seen that. I would bring in a guy who won a championship last year, not a Super Bowl, Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy two gloves.
A high school coach in Florida winning a state title, and now he's going to go play for the Saints.
Yeah, and I think Will can agree. When anybody that's played with or against Teddy Bridgewater has respect for this man.
Right, no
This
doubt.
man knows the game. He takes care of the football. This guy was a Pro Bowl type quarterback who had a devastating leg injury. He has the respect among the league. He's smart. I played against him in college in Louisville. He took a Sugar Bowl away from me there. And
he's in the State Junior right there.
Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's been there. He's been in that city. He's been behind Drew Brees. He's smart. He's accurate. He's a leader. I think he can lead Spencer Rattler to be your bridge quarterback or maybe extend his career himself. I like Teddy Bridgewater to go in there. And look what they have on that roster. Alvin Kamara, great back, pass-catching back.
Yep.
You have Chris Olave, great young wide receiver. You have Rashid Shaheed. So they have options.
Just brought Cooks back.
Yeah, and they brought Cooks back. So they have options to throw the ball. You need a quarterback to come here and throw the ball. I like Teddy Bridgewater. He's available. He has a lot of respect. I think he can go in there, win that locker room over quickly.
The man hasn't played or started a football game in quite some time. You're going to bring him in, learn a whole new playbook with a rookie head coach, and that's the situation that you think is best suited for the Saints.
Well, who can learn a playbook faster than a coach himself? So I think Teddy Bridgewater can learn that playbook pretty quick.
Logan.
Right?
Okay. I have been on vacation. I did not expect that comeback.
So I think Teddy Bridgewater is smart enough to go in there. Like I said, he's played for the Saints. He knows what football means down there. I don't think it's a big ask for him. And I have respect for the guy playing against him because he does it the right way.
Right. That's been the trend, right? You got Case Keenum, coming back. You got Josh Johnson, who's on another team. He's a backup quarterback for the Commanders. But just what you said with the roster, listen, y'all. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers. Listen, the name's back out there. Bring Aaron Rodgers for that reason, to bring in a veteran presence, to have guys. You got two gunslingers on the staff already, on the roster with Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, guys who were just in the spread offense, just know what to do with it. And I think Aaron Rodgers, it's a situation for the exact same weapons. And what I would do, I would still address the issue in the draft, and I would go get a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. He did have a private workout with the Saints. Kellen Moore was just with Jalen Hurts, and very, very similar comp for me in terms of what they can do. And so I like that for the Saints. But right now, man, what they're trying to do, they literally lost a franchise quarterback or potentially losing one. I would go get Aaron Rodgers, and if he wants to play, man, I'm calling him all day long.
What do you think, Nick?
I mean, I think it depends on what the organization wants to do, right? I mean, I feel like, if you're in a win-now situation, you got to go get the veteran. You got to get somebody who's proven, who knows what they're doing. If you have a little bit of patience, you can go and draft a rookie quarterback and have them, go through their potential growing pains and whatnot. But I feel like with the team they have, the offensive, the weapons they have, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, they signed my boy Juwan Johnson back with an extension. I feel like they got to go and go get a vet, Aaron Rodgers. And like Will said, even though, you can address a quarterback at the end of in the draft in the later rounds or something, maybe a Jackson Dart if he slides a little bit,
right,
or the kid from Louisville, or even Jalen Milroe. I think that the Saints are best suited to get a veteran quarterback right now in order to go and try to achieve their dreams.
You were with a first-time head coach and a rookie quarterback in Indianapolis when Shane Steichen arrived and Anthony Richardson. Do you think that is an ideal situation because it's two new people arriving at the NFL? Or do you think maybe paired with a first-time head coach and Kellen Moore, you should go veteran? Is that part of your arguments as well?
I would say I think it just depends on the situation. I think that, with Shane coming in and bringing in a rookie quarterback, I think they both, came in together and, they're tied at the hip. I feel like, Shane is able to help Anthony in so many ways and, bringing in this kind of a breath of fresh air for both parties, the players and the coaches. So I'm not totally sure. I think that, I like the way our dynamic is. Shane's a great guy, to lead Anthony. Anthony's a great guy and has a very bright future. But, I feel like with the rookie head coach and in the situation, I do feel like maybe a veteran quarterback would be, good to help not only, bridge and ease the team, but also just to have a calming force in that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you have a great example. You were there with Flacco when he came in. What was that like when he was in the room?
Oh, Flacco was great. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a great leader, guy who can calm the locker room down, someone who's in there, and he doesn't really say a lot in the locker room, but a funny guy, just someone with a lot of charisma, and go out there and sling the rock and, helped us win a couple games during the season. But at the end of the day, I feel like whoever the Saints go with, I think it'll be good, with that team that they have going on down there.
All right, so now we have this basket of teams that we just have to put a new one in terms of quarterback need, which makes Shedeur Sanders and other prospects pretty happy about that. Do you think the Saints, Logan, is that a pathway that the Sanders family would want to engage their son in? Because we all know that when it comes to prime, and it's a business, and he knows what he is signing his kid up for. He's very involved. Shedeur Sanders to the Saints, is that a possibility?
Well, I think from the Sanders perspective, the Saints have to come up and go get him, because I think Shedeur Sanders is going number 2 to Cleveland. I know we want to have all this speculation and he's fallen or not, but I don't think so. I think that kid has won everywhere he's been to. And if you're a young quarterback in the NFL, you're going to face adversity. All players are going to face adversity, and it seems like he is built to handle it as good as any prospect we've had come out the draft. He's been used to having the cameras on him. He's used to having to be doubted and all that stuff, and he's used to having the spotlight of being Deion's son. That's hard for anybody to do. So I think Shedeur is used to that. I think he can win in most situations. I think he's going to have a great rookie year wherever he goes. And look, we talked about the roster that the Saints have, and this is the problem I have with the Saints even drafting a young quarterback right now, even though Shedeur might want this, is that they have an aging roster, especially defensively. I mean, all their stars are, Honey Badger's still there, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. I don't know how many more years they have, there. So I feel like they need to bring somebody who is ready to win now. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers, I said Teddy Bridgewater. But for Shedeur, I think it's a great fit for him. However, I think Cleveland's not moving off that number 2 pick.
Yeah, I feel like you made a good point on the defensive side. Like at number 9, they lost Paulson Adebo to the Giants.
Yep.
They traded away Marshawn Lattimore. So I think they really got to get a corner and really address the defensive side because they're getting older. But like you said, I definitely don't think he's going to be there. If not 2, I like number 3 for Shedeur for the Giants for all the reasons you said, like that big media New York market. I think for me, evaluating a quarterback, everyone's so enamored with the throw. And I think between the ears,
absolutely,
I think he's lights out in terms of how he handles the pressure, the leader. There's a situation where he overthrew Travis Hunter in the game. Hunter was ticked off about it and said something to the sideline, and Shedeur totally checked him and shut it down right then and there, going in and threw another touchdown to him. So I love Shedeur to New York for that reason.
Yeah, I feel like, Shedeur is a great guy ever since, even in high school, winning in high school, college, Jacksonville State, going to Colorado, bringing that aura, that swag to Colorado. I think it'll be great for a team. Is New Orleans a fit? Not sure. Like you said, the aging defense, the weapons on offense that are there right now, something where you need to win right now. New York is a team, trying to build and grow through some adversity and everything. So, do you put him there with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and have him grow under them? With that media market, and also just have a great, charismatic guy come through. I know a lot of people, kind of sit there and bash him for his quote-unquote arrogance or whatever, but I feel like he has, a confidence, unwavering confidence. To come from and go in Jacksonville State, to go to Colorado, teams that weren't very successful in the past, and to go out there and bring them to some level of stardom and spotlight is phenomenal. So, and just, to have that Sanders name, Deion said it himself, when you have that Sanders name, it's something different. They're always going to find something to critique and everything. So I just feel like for him, I think wherever he goes, he's going to shine, he's going to do well, and he's going to be successful wherever he goes.
You got DB swag as a quarterback. Come on, man.
Right on GMFB, and we're getting to know all of the prospects whose names you will hear next week in Green Bay. And this next one is one of the top tight end prospects in this year's draft. He was a standout at the Reese's Senior Bowl as we welcome in from the University of Miami, Elijah Arroyo. What's going on, Elijah?
What's going on? How we doing?
We're great.
I'm
we're
not
great.
You. I'm not
It's obligatory. You hear it, and then it has
It's natural. You want
No,
it.
it's just your hands all come together.
You
All
went
right.
to Boston College. You know what
it
Ed
hurts.
Reed and them did to them.
We can. Elijah, let's go through some of your history and work through how you got here. You had a major knee injury early in your college career. You missed most of the 22 and 23 season with a torn ACL. But now you are preparing to hear your name called in Green Bay next week as you prepare to enter the NFL. If someone would have told you that this is your reality now in football, how would that make you feel?
I mean, I never really doubted it, honestly. I've had injuries throughout my career, but, I always, had a goal in mind, which is to make it to the league. And now that it's here, I'm trying to, excel at the next level.
Go ahead, Nick.
What's up, Elijah? First of all, I just want to say I've used you in NCAA multiple times. You're very, very clutch when it comes to third down, them corner routes and everything. I appreciate you for all the success you provided me on NCAA.
Oh, for sure.
But
hopefully I made you some money.
I'm not saying all that, but you definitely won me some games for sure. You left a heartfelt goodbye message on your Instagram to the University of Miami and the fans. What about being a Hurricane was so important, and what does that mean to you?
Man, so I grew up a Canes fan, so it means the world to me, honestly. Just coming in, I wanted to be, a part of, I want to be one of the guys who bring the U back. And we got very close. Had a really good year this past year, but, hopefully they can continue to build from that.
Hey, yo, what's up? Will Blackman here. How you doing? I went to BC. That's why I couldn't throw up the U. I'm a Boston College guy. But, man, I want to there's a rich tradition history of tight ends at the U. And this is crazy for me to say this, but I played with Bubba Franks in Green Bay.
Oh, wow.
You got Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olsen, and also played with Jimmy Graham. Like, what does that mean to you to be part of this incredible group?
Man, I just wanted to, come to this school and leave a legacy like those guys did. So just having the opportunity to do that, is such a blessing.
Elijah, with the draft around the corner, you really caught the eye of NFL scouts at the Reese Senior Bowl. What did it mean to you to go out there and showcase your talent like that against the best in the country?
I mean, it's something I felt like I needed to do. As you see on the clips, I'm out there having fun, playing football. I mean, that's what I've been doing my whole life. So it really wasn't anything different going out there in the Senior Bowl.
Do they give you a lot of Reese's candy when you leave the Senior Bowl? I've always wondered that about guys that play in that game.
Yeah, so I'm actually allergic to peanut butter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lost your Reese's deal.
A lot of Hershey's.
No! I can't. I don't know how the candy.
We're gonna talk to you about marketing right now. When you call out the Reese's Senior Bowl, you don't tell them you're allergic to peanut butter.
Just carry your EpiPen and you just deal with it.
He just shot out Hershey's, so maybe they can come in and
That's
do
true.
something
That's
for
true.
him. So.
All right, get this man a Benadryl ad, maybe. All right, Elijah, we were just talking about the tight ends and the history at your university, but now you're entering kind of a greater group of that position, which is in the NFL. We all know tight end university happens in Nashville every summer. It's a group of personalities in the NFL that are waiting to welcome you in the league. What's it been like competing with your fellow tight ends from the class of 2025 and getting to know some of those guys at your position group?
I mean, the tight end room tight end class, it's filled with a lot of great guys. I feel like, everybody's pretty chill. Like all the tight ends, like we're all pretty cool with each other. I think we're just all genuinely excited for each other, and we're ready to see each other excel at the next level.
Elijah, Cam looks like he might be number one to the Titans on everyone's draft board. If that were to be true, can you give us a little insight of what Tennessee Titan fans might be getting in this quarterback?
They getting a dog. I mean, you've seen it on film. You've seen what he can do, but I would say most importantly, they getting an elite leader. Just off the field, he came in from day one, and he just brought everybody in, made us closer, and the whole team was willing to work.
Elijah, Good Morning Football is the NFL show. You got all the NFL fans watching this. I want you to look in that camera and tell them what they are getting when you get drafted. What are you going to give that fan base?
Just know you know exactly what you're going to get out of me every day. I'm going to be out there giving 110%. I'm going to be consistent. And I'm going to try to be the best version of myself for both the team and myself.
Now, Elijah, you was pretty good on NCAA. When you come into Madden, what do you think your overall should be and why?
Uh-oh.
I already know they be selling out the rookies. But I need at least an 80. I need my speed to be a 90. I need that. I know I didn't run my 40, but, my speed is on tape. So I'm going to need that 90 speed.
Any X Factor, superstar, anything like that?
I don't expect that yet. maybe later on in the year when they upgrade it.
What tight end do you play with in Madden when you play, Elijah?
I feel like Kelsey and Kittle are always overpowered. You got the X factors. Mark Andrews, he's tough too.
All right, good. Elijah Arroyo, everybody. Welcome to the NFL. We'll just do it early here on GMFB. It was awesome getting to know you. Stay healthy, stay well, and we can't wait to hear and see how your story unfolds in the league.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, Elijah Arroyo, everybody. You can do it. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead. There it is. Now, critics are coming out in full force as we gear up for the 2025 NFL Draft. This criticism, gentlemen, Logan, I'll start with you. Is it warranted when you look at Shedeur and the fact that, as he said, he pats the ball? Is that a problem when you consider what he is? And do you need to hold the prop as you have
I do
this
need that.
well,
let's start,
He's been looking at me for a couple minutes. He's like, can I hold that? Can I hold that? Can I hold that?
I need that for something. All right, so let's start with it, right? So Shedeur's problem is, well, the people have is his confidence. And I think that confidence is a prerequisite for success in the NFL. I don't know one great NFL player that's not confident. He just outwardly talks about it and is not afraid to be himself. Now, patting the ball, completely overrated, completely not a big deal. Majority of quarterbacks pat the ball in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers pats the ball. Tom Brady pats the ball, who's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. My very biased opinion, but
it's facts, though. Right. It's the facts.
So what we do for post safeties, most of us play safety here, most of us play DB, is I'm studying something you're doing regardless.
Right.
Whether you hit your back foot, we're going to find a tick. We had ticks on Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not going to share in New England that we knew how to get the ball for him. And then I think the biggest thing I look at is when a quarterback drops back and his hand comes off the ball, that's when I'm going regardless.
No doubt.
Right? Now it's about how quick you're released. Because if Shedeur takes his hand off the ball and then he pats and he goes, if it's quick, it doesn't matter. Because if a guy takes his hand off the ball with no pat, but then he takes a long windup, I'm going anyway. So my whole point is that my job as a safety in the NFL is to study the quarterback. And all week long, I'm trying to find something that he does that's going to dictate where the play is going to go, who's going to throw it to. There are quarterbacks who their stance changes. When their feet are square, it's going to be a run play. When their feet staggered, it's going to be a pass play. There are many quarterbacks in the NFL that when they sit there, green 80, the last place they look is the side that they're going to throw. So if I know from studying a guy that the last place he looks in his cadence is where he's going to throw, I'm already weaving and moving my way over there. So Shedeur has something that people can break on, but everyone has something we can break on. I think they don't like him because he's just too confident.
I worked with a quarterback once who said that he retrained himself to come out of the huddle after calling a play the same way each time because he realized that he was actually like kneeling when it was like a run play and then he would like jump up when it was a pass play because he was getting ready himself. So like even that tiny thing, you're watching a guy break a huddle, or it can be little gives. What do you think, Will? Oh, now he needs the ball.
I just want the rock.
It's not a talking stick. It's a talking ball.
No, you made a great point. It is the film study. Like we started with situational football. I mean, you played for the situational master. So first of all, I'm looking at what's going on around, and sure enough, right, it's the tendencies. What I learned when it came to patting the ball, it just helps with timing. A lot of quarterbacks quick pats with timing, and I've been very, very blessed. My first 6 years in the league, I was with Favre, who pats the ball. I was with Aaron Rodgers, who pats the ball. And some may say that probably one of the most clutch throws of all time was when Eli threw it to David Tyree. And in that certain play, sure enough, yeah, he broke like 10, 20 tackles. And right before he threw the ball to Tyree, he patted the ball. And so I actually interviewed Ed Reed. Here we go right here. Sure enough, look at Eli fighting through. Get through there, Easy E. Get through there.
I forgot how many it was.
Let you go, pat.
And you couldn't even see it as a DB.
You can't even see it as a DB. Otherwise, this ball would have got taken. And I actually interviewed Ed Reed right here on this show, and he told me, he said, look, as soon as the quarterback pulls the pin, I'm gone. Like this right here, guys can do this all day. That's why you're not going to share the Ben Roethlisberger, because Ben would do this all day.
Yeah.
As soon as you pull the pin, that's where we would go.
All right, Nick, you're currently playing in the NFL. What are you watching?
I'm watching everything. I'm looking at. I'm watching everything.
This is the whole package.
I'm watching everything. I'm watching formations. I'm watching, where the quarterback likes to go, where the big money guys are. The guys in the slot, they usually say something's up. If he's an outside guy on the inside, he's going to get the ball. If he's on the outside, the inside going outside, something's usually going on there. But just something in general, like I said, in college, I used to line up at 20 yards. I used to line up, just sit back there. My college coach hated it, but I did it just so that, when the quarterback reached that back foot and looked, I was like, okay, in my head, it's the clock. You know, if he has enough time to sit there and go from here, from one side, and reset his feet to the other side of the field, we need new pass rushers. So I feel like, you know, once he gets to that back foot, and again, once his hand come off the pin, he's only going one places, and that's the receiver. So, you know, you can pat the ball back there all the time. You know, even when I'm sitting there and I think I'm a quarterback at times, I'll sit down, I just, you know, give it a little pat and fling the ball. I probably don't throw as well as Shedeur, but, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's just finding something again, like I said earlier, just to, you know, bring him down. I feel like I said, he's had a great chance at a great stat line at Colorado, at Jacksonville State. Some people would sit there and say some of his completions were only 5-10 yards, you know, intermediate, short throws. But you can see he has great touch on the deep ball. Him and Travis had a great connection down there. And at the end of the day, he won football games, and that's all that matters.
He's over 70% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Over 70 and 4,000 yards. Like, what are we doing?
So I would say, to answer the question to the bottom of the screen, is the criticism warranted? I'm gathering that it's not that warranted from the pool here. Okay, perfect. Watching that quick highlight of Anthony Richardson, because now all I watch is for the pat. And I'm just like, does he do it? Does he do it? When he did it in that clip, he actually took off running after his pat. So the breed of the quarterback, and I'll ask this of all of you, which is, how much more challenging is it to approach a quarterback that you know has that giddy up and not just a guy who is sitting there passing? Because, like, patting the ball if you're Rodgers or Roethlisberger is vastly different than if you're patting and you might take off if you're Anthony Richardson or Justin Fields, for example.
Right. So it's going to change how you play defense. It's going to change your pass rushers.
Yep.
Right? Are they rushing to go get to a spot? Or are we trying to contain a guy so he doesn't run? And then it can, for the great ones, it's going to really change. It's going to make the coverage last longer. We call it the second play with Patrick Mahomes, with Jalen Hurts, with Lamar Jackson especially. You got to cover a guy, and then he breaks contain of the pocket. Now you got to cover him again. You know, the average play in the NFL lasts 3 or 4 seconds. But when you're playing Josh Allen, that play might last 8 seconds. That's a lot longer than you're used to. You got to cover that second play against those guys. So that's what the great dual threat. I don't even want to call it dual threat anymore. That's an old terminology. That's what the great quarterbacks do nowadays, because the legs is a big part of it.
No, it's a huge part. And especially if you have a quarterback that is very accurate, who can be a pocket passer and who can also run. That's where it gets extremely dangerous. Like, we played against, Kaepernick, where, he was better against man. So we would try to play zone because, sure enough, he would pass the ball and then he would take off because he was extremely dangerous with his legs. But playing against somebody like Josh Allen, or even before Aaron got hurt, he started running a little bit more. Like, people, that was kind of like an underrated skill of his, because he was known for getting the football out really well, but just moving around, like, is very, very difficult and dangerous.
Yeah, I feel like when you have somebody back there who has no threat to run, it's just, okay, your pass rushers can pin their ears back and go get the quarterback. But, at the end of the day, whether it's third down, second down, primarily on third down, it's one of those things where, everybody in coverage doing their thing, you got to rely on your D-line to go out there and make sure that their pass rush lanes are secure, because one crease and, someone like Anthony or someone like Shedeur or someone like that's going to take off and run. And that's a whole different ballgame when, you're covering back there, chasing after somebody, then you look back and the quarterback's just running down the field. And somebody like Anthony at 6'5", 250, is like, here we go. Like, we got to go corral this guy before we get to the first down. So it's kind of it's a great thing for us as a team to have somebody like that. But I know it's a nightmare for defenses to have to sit there and, especially because, 9 times out of 10, I believe he's going to get you're going to get the first down. It's like, you have to go out there and play another set of 4 downs to go out there and try to get off the field again.
The least alarming part of that clip of Jameis Winston is the fact that there was a grown man dressed as a lobster holding a sign right behind him as he is throwing an Alaskan king crab leg. Will Blackman, you cannot contain yourself with the giggles.
Because I heard the cadence. He said, red Alaskan king crab. He is a trip. My gosh.
You played against him.
I did.
What was the scenario and how did that go?
Thanks. Anyway. This is going. So anyhow, we played them. It was the Kirk Cousins. You like that game. And one thing that's really good about Jameis, he throws an incredible football, like when he hits his own teammates. And I happen to be the victim against. I had a guard, Mike Evans, and sure enough, simple goal ball. And I look, I'm like, of course you guys have it, no question. I thought I was overthrown, and I was like, wait, I got it. Oh, that ball kept going. You know what? That's just. That was a great ball, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
And he did not chase you down and say you like that.
He did not. No, we still won this game.
Here you go.
But yeah, that's That's why I'm at this desk, guys.
That's a Hall of Famer. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer.
That's a Hall of Famer.
That's true.
Hall of
That's
Famer.
true. It
It's
doesn't
a
matter
Hall
about
of
the
Famer.
ball or who threw it. It's the fact that the wide receiver.
And you know what? To like, if I'm any more Victor, at least I was in the picture. I never really got cooked like that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But
that's
that right
key.
there was great ball, Jameis.
Yeah, great ball.
Great Alaskan king crab.
Nick, you were chuckling at Jameis too. You like him as a personality? Do you know him at all?
I don't know him at all. I just find him to be very funny, very entertaining. You know, from the eating a W to, you know, his interviews. And I find him on TikTok all the time. You know, him running through the bags and almost falling over. Just, you know, some of the, even his mic'd up, you know, telling to steal his jump off sides. You know, his interview about saying, you know, he just stopped throwing. The Lord needs to help him stop throwing pick sixes. You know, like, you know, something about him comes out every week, and it's just, I'm in tears every time I listen to him. You know, someone who I would have loved to be in the locker room with him just to see if this, you know, on a daily basis how he is he's phenomenal.
That's awesome. Well liked around the league, and we'll see how he fares in the New York media market. First hour, GMFB with Will Blackman, Nick Cross, and Logan Ryan. We'll be right back. We got to keep talking about red Alaskan king crab.
He said, somebody jump off sides there. That was too funny.
Lie back on you, because I think we have to understand the reality of what it might be like if he decides to, or if he can play two ways in the NFL, which is, what does a day look like for somebody who is in defensive meetings, who is in D-back meetings? And also, if you know, what does the offensive meeting look like? And can you physically do this from a playbook perspective, from an obligations perspective, and getting ready to play on Sunday afternoons? What would this look like if you were a two-way player? And then we can ask the question.
I say start with the physical. I think, you know, for me, I played about 1,200 snaps this year of defense. You know, so give or take 2,000 snaps on a season. You know, if he's going to be in the action, getting the ball, making tackles. You know, I know a lot of running backs like to try to corner and see if they're going to be one to tackle. So physically, you know, for longevity and career purposes, that's a lot on your body. You know, I don't, you know, he's 6'1", you know, about 185, 195 pounds, you know, not the biggest frame. You know, so it's one of those things where for longevity purposes, trying to be a consistent two-way player, it's something that is, if he wants to do it, I believe he can. But, you know, from the optics, from just, you know, science and stuff.
The demand.
The demand of the sport, it's not very feasible. I would say mentally, I mean, like I said, you know, receivers in there, you know, looking at, you know, -1, -2 on the numbers, you know, adjusting this and adjusting that. And then depending on the complexity of the defense. Some defenses are really complex.
Yeah.
Some defenses, you just go out there, hey, you have that guy, you have this guy. You know, if it's that, then, hey, you know, you can go out there and do that all day.
Right.
But, you know, I feel like the mental toll it'll take, you know, I'm not sure. But if anybody's up for it, I think it's him for sure.
Well, what he just said is 1,200 snaps is, for the fans listening at home, that's a lot. 1,000 snaps in the NFL.
I was wondering.
Okay, 1,000 snaps in the NFL, that's an Iron Man award.
Y'all got to get off the field, man.
Well, he's playing special teams, too. If you play 1,000 snaps a year, that is a true, in my opinion, that's a true reward of a tough player.
No doubt.
Players available every single game, right? So for him to play 1,200 in a year, that is really rare, what he did. That's probably leading the NFL. Travis Hunter's is, if he wants to do his full-time, that's 2,000 snaps. It's almost double the workload, which is double Iron Man, right? That is really hard to do. I'm looking at it, I don't think it's possible from not a talent perspective, but I'm looking at it as a scheduling perspective.
Right.
Let's go through the NFL work week, right? You play on Sunday. We know that. You get in a couple car crashes. You're banged up. Monday, you come out of bed. You're pretty banged up. You got to go do a lift. We actually do a heavy lower body lift on Mondays to kind of flush all that inflammation out. We do a quick run, and then we watch the film. Sitting there for hours, making the corrections, watch the film. Tuesday's a player off day. Most of the better players are still in this facility, getting treatment, doing yoga, doing Pilates, doing something light, hanging with their family. That's your day off. Okay, Wednesday, you're coming in there, and in the NFL, the offense and defense are two separate teams.
Right.
You have a quick team meeting, breaking down the next opponent. Then the offense, they go and meet for 4 hours. The defense, they go and meet for 4 hours. In New England, there was times when we played the Bills, they had a great pass rush where Brady and them put in 50 new plays, 50 no-huddle plays, all in 1 week. And these guys have, you think Edelman and Amendola, they have big old playbooks of notes of this word means this and this means that. And everyone knows exactly what they're doing on 50 new plays. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, 30 to 40 new plays a week offensively. right? And then defensively, you got to study what they're doing. So we got to learn their top concepts, what they do, what we want to take away. We might not put in as many new plays, but we got to figure out to stop what they do well. Why is Justin Jefferson getting open? What do they like to do on first, second down? So you meet for 4 hours or so. You have a walkthrough. You go to practice, but you're not practicing against each other. You're practicing against your scout team, right? So Thursday, third down day.
Jeez Louise.
So I have all new plays for third down. The defense, you put in new wrinkles on defense. We're going to have this blitz drawn up for Nick. We're going to have this drawn up for him. And you got to learn 10 new defenses on third down. Offense going to have third down concepts. And then Friday's the red area. You have red zone plays. So he can't be in both meetings. He can't be in both walkthroughs. He's got to pick it. That's why I think it's easier for him to play defense because it's less. You're not learning 50 new defenses a week. And then they can put him in some packages on offense. Maybe in there on some third downs on offense. Maybe he comes in the red area, right, to bring some excitement to the game and put in a reverse or a quick pass to him. So I think he'd be a full-time defensive player with some packages and always special teams return kicks. But just from a logistical standpoint, you can't be in both meetings. And I don't think it worked in college because Prime gave him days off to rest his body. Prime gave him practice off to rest his body for how many snaps he played. I don't think the Cleveland Browns or Brian Daboll, if you're drafting the top 5, is going to give your star rookie a day off on a Wednesday when you put your first year in the league. I just don't think it's going to work.
Jamie, did you get all that?
That was an incredible description of what the NFL week is like.
Very hard to
I
do.
also don't want to go over the fact that Logan Ryan had 3 times he was a 1,000-snap guy. That was said to me in my ear. When you 3-time Iron Man. So he knows. When he heard 1,200 snaps, you could understand that was a trigger for Logan Ryan. That was really cool. Will, I'm going to start with you. What's a more frightening defensive line with the addition of Abdul Carter? Is it with the Cleveland Browns or is it with the New York Giants?
I mean, Cleveland Browns with Myles Garrett alone is frightening enough. So you added Abdul Carter. I mean, that's just going to cause problems. And I think that would be the best spot for him simply because you just gave Myles Garrett that huge contract, rightfully so. You don't know how long, you want to be paying him for that. And you want to get another guy to pretty much be there to be another pass rusher. So you got 2 guys come off the edge in that division, which is loaded in terms of the quarterback position. I think out the gate, that is just the most frightening position. I mean, I saw the Myles Garrett picture of him in high school.
Yeah.
He looked like, Flex Wheeler, the bodybuilder, outstanding. So I just feel like those 2 can cause havoc and be a huge problem for any quarterback.
I'm going on the other side. I'm going with my former team, the New York Giants here. You have Dexter Lawrence in the middle, dominant, one of the best defensive tackles in football. You have Brian Burns, who you paid, elite pass rush on the other side. And then you bring in Abdul Carter. But what about Kayvon Thibodeau? They drafted him in the top 5 as well. He has not panned out to that ceiling yet, but we know the potential. I look at third down. You have those 4 pass rushers as a unit on third down where they're all standing up. You don't know who's going to go where. I think that's a better unit because of the 4 deep that they have compared to the 1-2 of the Browns.
Well, to back your point real quick, when I was with the Giants in 11, we had pretty much an 8-man rotation. Like, that was the benefit. That's how we got to Tom. We were able to get the pass rushers, and that's what Philly did against Mahomes.
Absolutely.
I think you can go either way, but I think I'm going to sway more towards Cleveland just because not just of what they have up front, but in the back end, too. Denzel Ward, lockdown corner, Martin Emerson, emerging star back there. Grant Delpit is still back there. And then, their linebacking core is pretty solid as well. So I think overall, from a defensive standpoint, with those teams, those offenses, they have to play, Joe Burrow. They have to go play Lamar Jackson. Those are teams that you're going to have to go out and get after the quarterback. You're going to have guys in the back end who lock down, and you're going to have to have fast guys to go, get to the quarterback. Lamar is not going to just sit back there, pat. He's going to pat and go. So, having someone like Abdul who runs fast. By the way, I don't like the fact that they had that Maryland clip up there when they
quick.
when they put Abdul up there. But I definitely think either place he goes, I think that he'll be great and they'll have a great addition to their team.
Getting an offensive lineman after the great Terron Armstead called it a career last weekend. Armstead spent 12 seasons in the NFL with both the Dolphins and the Saints, and he put together quite the resume. A 5-time Pro Bowl selection, 2019 Saints Man of the Year. Plus, he's got some speed to the big man, and he was on one of NFL Network's top 100 lists in the last couple of seasons. So we love to see that for Terron Armstead. We've loved watching him, and now we are going to enjoy talking to him on GMFB. What's going on? Good morning, Terron.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's awesome to see you. Congratulations on everything. You're a week into retirement. What hobbies have you picked up in the meantime? Bird watching, gardening, golfing, both playing or watching the Masters over the weekend? What are you filling your time with now that you're not getting your body right for the next season?
Yeah, no, I'm fully embracing the old man life. I'm walking a lot, enjoying my walking, enjoying sitting back reading. Just more and more the quiet, simple things, the quiet, simple spoils of life these days, and I'm enjoying it.
Terron, I feel like, as someone who retired a year before you, I feel like as an NFL player, they do a great job of teaching us how to get in the league, obviously college and this draft process. It's up for the player to stay in the league as long as you have, but they don't teach you how to get out of the league. They don't teach you what life's like after. So tell me how you came to the decision and some of the thoughts you might have for some other players out there and why you decided to retire.
Yeah, Logan, it was so many factors for me. My body, for one, dealing with the knee that is bone on bone, there's nothing left for me to do to prepare and to go through another season. It would have been extremely, extremely challenging. Then factoring in my kids and my family, it's time to just be more present, be more invested in their lives as they begin their athletic career too. So many factors that went into it though, and prayed about it for a long time, thought about it, talked to the people I needed to talk to. So just coming to this decision peacefully, man, I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, I am sure, and at peace with my decision to walk away from the game.
Terron, what's up? Will Blackman here. You were a 3-time first-team All-SWAC, man. How did it feel, or did you take a lot of pride in representing the HBCU for 12 years? Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, for sure. I wore that badge with full honor. So many greats that came before me that paved the way to allow the scouts to come watch our film down in the HBCU circuit, man, and just to be able to represent all the greats and all the legends that we have in the NFL history that came from these historic Black colleges. It's an incredible honor, and it's something I do not take lightly.
What's up, Terron? Nick Cross here. I believe we played y'all last year. I think we won.
Oh, boy.
So I would say that.
Out the gate.
Oh, my God.
You got to come back now,
Nice
Terron.
to meet you. I beat you.
Nice to
Here's my
meet
question.
Nice to meet you. So
For
I
sure.
see you ran 4.71 at 300 pounds. It's been over 300 pounds. It's been about 12 years since then. One, where did you get the wheels from? And two, if you were to get on the line today, are you still running under 5 seconds?
First, foremost, being blessed, God-given talent and ability, and putting the work into my hometown. We were really known for speed back in Cahokia, Illinois. Small town, but we got a lot of state championships in track and field. So we're known for speed. And can I run under 5 still? That's tough, man. Listen, as you get older, Nick, you're gonna see this. I know you about year 4 or 5. Things start to change, man. Father time sets in, and you got to find new ways to win. You got to evolve your game. You learn different techniques. Could I run under 5 seconds? The world may never know. I don't know, honestly, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Well, since you're not running the 40 anymore, and it sounds like you're walking, are you taking up power walking? Because this is an event that we see at the Pro Bowl now, and it's
wow.
sweeping that. Oh yeah, you got the Bosa brothers with the hips back and forth. Like, are you walking with a purpose, or are you walking for the scenery?
I'm walking for the scenery.
Okay.
I'm making sure I get some push to it, while I'm not just, walking on the beach, but I'm not doing all the power walking, and I can't do the hip shift. I'm knock knees, so that's a little too much.
No.
That's a little too much.
Terron, a ton of people, reached out to you and celebrated your retirement. Who was one of your favorite former teammates that you heard from, and what was the special message that you got?
So I actually had a retirement party, and when I say my guys showed up, they really, really touched my heart. I feel extremely blessed and honored to have Drew Brees, Willie Rove, Cam Jordan, Mark Ingram, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyreek Hill, Mike McDaniel, Frank. It was incredible. It was incredible, and just a very, very touching evening.
When you announced your retirement, Drew Brees, your quarterback, he praised you for a lot of leadership, which is a huge compliment coming from someone like Drew. Like, take us, inside the huddle to the locker room. Like, how would it lift you up, motivate your teammates?
Drew was incredible, man. His preparation alone, like, you see somebody that left no stone unturned every week, no matter what our offensive production was the week before. Like, he still committed the same level of preparation, time, effort, and energy. So just watching him prepare the way that he did, like, you didn't want to let this guy down. You wanted to be and do everything possible to go out there and perform for him and be productive. So it's just watching him and other leaders that we had, man, I learned, I studied, I paid attention to those guys. And for me, I just always wanted the betterment of my team. Like, just wanted the guys to improve, to daily progress, to really have that full investment. Because we have a short window to do this. I played for 12 years, but that's a short span of my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I wanted to maximize my potential and have that full investment.
Terron, as a fellow broadcast boot camp classmate of mine, I know you want to get into broadcasting and teach people about life, especially in the trenches. So what's something about playing the O-line mentality-wise or something you can bring to the screen and maybe tell the fans at home what 12 years at the O-line means?
Yeah, I would love to get more into a detailed space, and we're talking the trenches, get more into the technique, assignments, hand placement, leverage, what I'm trying to do as far as manipulating with my eyes and first step, pre-snap dummy calls and things like that, where I'm making a run call, but I know it's a play action, but I'm getting a reaction from the linebackers because they hear me. I'm making sure they hear me. Just those small details, and just give people more insight and a little bit more of an education. I feel like as a fan base, we know a lot about quarterback play. We know a lot about the skill positions, but it's time we learn a little bit more about what's going on with the big dogs.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate that tidbit, so anytime I hear a lineman making some run call or something, I'm going to, make sure to let my teammates know it might not always be true. Now, you might catch a little slack for this question, but who are your top 3 players or top 3 teammates you've played with over your 12 years?
God, come on, Nick, what's up, bro?
I was going to ask you your favorite. I was going to ask you your favorite, but I was going to ask, but then I was like, what, let me just get the top 3. Yeah, I'll give you a little wiggle room.
Oh, man, that is nearly impossible, really. I will go, goodness gracious, top 3 teammates.
Who were the first 3 to arrive at your retirement party? Go with that.
First 3. Drew was there early, which was surprising. Brees pulled up early. Tua pulled up early. And I'll say Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt.
That's a good list. Terron, are you going to miss young players trying to talk smack with you in the locker room like Nick Cross tried to engage with you today on the show?
Look, I love it because I can talk with the best of them. I promise. I love it.
Terron, you're a gem, and we hope to have you at the table here sometime as you enter into the next phase of your life and career. Congratulations on an awesome dozen years in the NFL.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Congrats.
Stay well, and let's just say that it was not bone on those knees when that man was running that speed at that size at the combine back in the day.
Welcome back to Good Morning Football. We've got another guest on the show for you, and this is my new teammate, Khalil Herbert. What's up, fam?
What's up, Khalil? Hey. There he is.
Appreciate y'all having me this morning. How y'all doing?
Great.
Great.
Oh, yeah, sounds
doing
good.
great.
Appreciate that.
First of all, I just want to take this time to officially welcome you to the team. Happy to have you. And for those who don't know, Indy is known for steakhouses. You got St. Elmo's, you have Anthony's Chop House, Tony's. Okay. I'm a foodie myself, so I know all the places.
Go.
You're going to have to give me some recommendations, man. I eat a lot.
Well, for sure, the first place you have to go to St. Elmo's if you haven't already. You've got to try their shrimp cocktail. But other than that, what are you looking forward to most coming to Indianapolis?
Man, now you talking to me about food, man. I'm a big foodie. Me and my wife, we go out every weekend try to find some new restaurants. So I'm gonna need some recommendations, but probably just playing indoors. I've been outdoors my whole career in the cold, so I'm looking forward to it. December, January, being inside. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, those palm trees behind you, Khalil, are not subtle. We understand that you're excited to be in some climate control when it comes to football.
Yeah.
You've had a whirlwind past 12 months. You get traded from the Bears to the Bengals, and now you are choosing to go to Indianapolis. In your introductory press conference, You said you chose the Colts because of their energy. What's this energy that you're talking about that made you want to wear this jersey?
Yeah, I mean, I've played in that building. So, just being in that area, in that environment, you see the fans, what they bring to it. And just being in that controlled environment, like you said, it gets loud in there. So being in that area, you feel that energy, you feel the juice in there. It's exciting. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yo, Khalil, you're joining Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. One, have you talked to him, and how do you envision you guys complement each other?
Nah, I haven't yet. But, I envision us, being able to keep each other fresh. It's a long season. And, what I have envisioned, us going on a deep playoff run. You got to have, a good stable of backs to be able to carry the load and help the team. So him being one of the top guys in the league, I'm excited to learn from him. And, I know what I bring to the table. So, just being able to keep each other fresh and, keep things rolling and keep the offense rolling. So I'm excited for that.
Khalil, your Instagram handle is Juice Herbert. So what's behind the nickname Juice there?
I got it in middle school and high school, really, from one of my coaches. Just what I bring to the table. Early in the morning, I'm that guy coming in to lift early, screaming, getting everybody going. Okay. And I've carried that through high school, college, and it's just continued. So it's something I look forward. I embraced and it's stuck with me. So a lot of my teammates keep calling me that, and it's grown on me since then. So.
Khalil, not for nothing, but you're screaming, you're a high energy guy. It's the morning. Khalil, coffee, caffeine. I feel like that could have been the one where you could go, not juice. I don't know. I know it's like a sugar rush and everything. Did you ever think about renegotiating that nickname?
Because I don't drink a lot of juice anymore. But, in high school, middle school, juice is the thing. So,
that was the thing.
I didn't start drinking coffee till probably last year. Now my wife got me into it, and I'm a big coffee guy now. But,
okay.
Juice was a thing back then.
Yeah. Well, let's take you back to your juice days then.
Yeah, let's take it back to the juice days. Let's play a game real quick, right? So with actual juices, you got apple, you got orange, you got pineapple. You have to start one, you have to bench one, and you have to cut one. Or you can replace one.
Okay.
Let's talk juices.
All right. I'm gonna replace pineapple juice with fruit punch.
Okay.
Fruit punch. Okay. That's not a juice.
That's
absolutely not a juice.
Roach's fruit punch. Great roaches.
That's all the juices combined. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
It's the best one.
So you're starting fruit punch.
I'm gonna start fruit punch.
Yep.
I'm gonna bench orange juice, and then I'm gonna cut apple juice.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my top three right there.
I really take a lot of issue with the fruit punch concept.
You can't.
Fruit punch is good.
Fruit punch.
No,
yeah,
Tropicana has one, Caribbean Sunset.
Okay.
I found it in the store. Yeah,
you guys are going to get along great in the locker room.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So other than the fact that we're new teammates now, it's been brought to my attention that we share something else in common. Growing up in a Caribbean household. Now, for those who don't know, that is a different experience. It's very different than a traditional household. So how has that growing up in a Caribbean household shaped your success on and off the field?
Man, where I start? So my mom is Jamaican. My dad is from the British Virgin Islands, from Tortola. So I got it both sides. But I mean, really, I feel like just the work ethic. My parents, both of them, getting up, going to work, not complaining. Providing for us, never saying, always trying to find ways to make ends meet and, getting things we need and stuff like that. So growing up, and then just the structure, everything is real family oriented. We have big parties, all families invited. I got loads and loads of cousins and aunts and uncles I haven't met before, but that's just how we were raised, with a big family. So, it still comes to play now that I got kids. So, help them all helping and growing and helping us grow up. So.
All right. You also say you're still a foodie.
Yeah.
Favorite Jamaican dish?
I mean, I gotta go with oxtail.
All right, there we go. We on the same page with that.
What's that?
Oxtail is?
What's that?
Like how is it prepared? Oxtail. What is it?
I gotta give you my mom.
Don't give me like that, Nick.
Your mom, it's something you just gotta be there.
You don't want to know.
You just gotta be there.
It's truly an experience to sit there and watch it be prepared.
Okay.
Put it in a crock pot. and everything, you got to make sure that the oxtail is falling off the bone.
This is what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you got to
Thank
make. And then they
Yes.
put the
Yeah,
sauce and the gravy and everything. Put some beans in it and everything.
You're getting Khalil hungry
You
again.
guys need a
Yes.
cooking show. Y'all two got to wake up for a little cooking show.
Right?
I'll tune in.
My mom, she makes them as soon as I come back home. So I might have to hit her up today and see what she could do. So
Yeah, I got a Jamaican guy out there for you when I get out there. So we'll have a time for sure.
I feel like we're seeing a friendship just forming right in front of our very
Did we
eyes.
just become
the
best
Colts.
friends?
I know. All right, one last thing we want to know about you, Khalil. Even though the Colts don't have a baseball team, we know that you like to kick off any season in a grand fashion. 2 years ago, you threw out the first pitch at a White Sox game. People always have epic stories about throwing out first pitches. You prepared a certain way, you wanted it to go a certain way, and it didn't. What's your story behind your first pitch at a baseball game, and were there nerves involved?
Nah, no nerves involved. You know, I like to think of myself as a world-class athlete. So, you know, I wanted to put my best foot forward. You know, I was practicing in the backyard with my dog, just playing a lot of fetch. So, you know, so I could feel like I felt like when I got out there, I was able to, you know, I wanted to get on the mound. You know, I wasn't doing the in front of the mound thing.
Okay.
You know, I think I threw a pretty good ball too.
You got the footage?
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. But nah, I definitely felt like you know, I was really trying to throw a strike, but you know, it got there, so that's what matters the most. So.
Well, we believe you because that's how you told the story.
I tell you, if there was footage, it probably would have been a bad pitch.
No,
The fact
exactly.
there was no footage,
It
it probably
was
was a
great.
solid.
I promise you it was a good pitch.
Yeah, if we would have saw some footage, it probably been something bad. So I think he
Did
did
the
a good
catcher
job.
have to adjust his position at the batter's box for him to catch the ball?
Nah.
strike?
He stayed right there. I got it to him. It didn't get there as fast as I wanted it to,
Okay.
but it got there.
Okay, good. Khalil, awesome to get to know you. Good luck with the Colts, and I am happy that you get to play inside now. We need a full report of Khalil and Nick's bromance and restaurateur development in Indianapolis
for
between
sure.
you two. All right, Khalil
Gotcha,
Herbert,
gotcha.
everybody. Nice to see you. Good luck, bud.
Appreciate
I'll see you
guys.
next week, my guy.